This week's script and dialogue is pretty much language and a sentence I use at the beginning of any presentation I do. And we're not just talking about me doing a listing presentation with an agent. This is what I consider to be the most effective 3 minutes before any presentation. I want you to understand that every time you see a client, vendors have got already a cross against the name of a real estate agent. You've got to understand they don't like agents. They believe that agents get paid a lot of money. They believe that when you go out and see them as a client, that what you're doing is trying to use tricks, lines, and trying to win while they lose. This is not true, but this is the perception that they have of real estate. And what I know is that the most effective real estate agents rock up as a human being first and as a real estate agent second. I mean, they call for an appraisal, but I think deep down they're looking for a good human being to show up. And one of the things that you've got to do in real estate is make someone feel safe very early on. And by safe, I mean give them permission to be themselves. And here's a paragraph that I think does exactly that. Of course, you've gone through your pre-list questions on the phone. Of course, you've actually sent them references before you go to the appointment. So they've gone off and they've read what other vendors have said about you that you've recently sold. And then when you get to the property, you say something like this: "Hi, John and Susan. Thanks for having me over. Today, I'm going to have a bit of a look around. I'm going to ask you a few questions about the property. You'll ask me a few questions. We'll have a bit of a chit chat and talk through things. At the end of it, I'm going to tell you if I can help you. If I can, I'll tell you what we do and how we do it. If I can't help you, I'll also tell you, because I won't want to waste any of your time. But I want you to know right from the outset, John and Susan, it's okay if nothing comes of this. If at the end of today's conversation, we got to know each other and we don't do business, that's okay as well." Out of script or dialogue. This piece of dialogue is what makes people feel safe, because it says to them, I'm not about to try and close you. I'm not about to try and use some lines that are going to corner you for you to give me the listing. And this is really, really important, because what people want is a trusted advisor. They don't actually want a hard-hitting real estate agent to pull out an agency agreement and just sign them up. It's a big decision for people. And I can tell you that the only way you can have this kind of conversation with a vendor is when you're not desperate, when you're not needy, when you're not sitting there on a sofa at a vendor's house or at a dining room table thinking to yourself, if I don't get this listing, I'm stuffed. You can only say this if you truly believe in your heart you're the best person for them. You can only say this if you know that if you don't get this piece of business, you've got other business that you'll be going to in other appraisals that you can get. You can only say this if deep down you really care about that client. And I know that people forget what you say, but they never forget the feeling you leave them with. And that's the feeling that in fact will get you the business.